In our last video, we motivated how to graph a monopoly using some data. We left off on that last video, though, not really talking about these outcomes very much or comparing them to perfect competition, and that's one of our objectives for this week. So let's take some time to do that right now. As a quick reminder, when we had a perfectly competitive market, we had no profit. Remember that pi stands for profit. No profit in the long run, but it was allocatively efficient. There was no deadweight loss, and we produced at efficient scale. So let's see if we can say the same for our monopolist. So let's start with profit in the long run. Now recall, in perfect competition, the reason why we had no profit in the long run was there were no barriers to entry. But in the monopolist, there are barriers to entry. That's why it's a monopoly. So no firms are going to enter this market and push this firm's demand curve down. So the answer to that is yes, the monopolist does have the ability to have a long-run profit. Now let's look at the question of whether or not this firm is allocatively efficient. As a reminder, allocative efficiency would be that the marginal benefit of the quantity that's produced is equal to the marginal cost. And remember, our demand curve is our representation of marginal benefit. So in an allocatively efficient outcome, marginal benefit and marginal cost would intersect at the quantity that's produced. But that's not the quantity that we produce. We don't produce this quantity, we produce the profit maximizing quantity. So we are not allocatively efficient. In fact, we can even shade in that area of deadweight loss because it's the difference between the quantity that's actually produced and the efficient quantity and the difference between marginal cost and marginal benefit at that quantity. Finally, let's talk about whether or not we produce at an efficient scale. As a quick reminder of that, efficient scale was the lowest possible cost of production per unit. That's always at the point where the marginal cost curve intersects the average total cost curve, because the marginal cost curve always intersects the average total cost curve at the bottom. Well, are we producing that quantity? No, we're not. So we do not produce an allocatively efficient quantity, and we do not produce at the efficient scale either.